And we're back. Hall here with another Hall of Code lesson. Let's dive right in. The display property specifies how an element is displayed. There are two types of defaulted display values. There's the block level. Now the block level starts a new line and takes up the full width available. And that would be H1 through H6, paragraphs, unordered lists, ordered lists, list items, divs, and forms. And then you have inline, which do not start on a new line. The width is limited to what is needed. And examples would be spans, links, and images. You can use the display element to change the block element to inline and vice versa. And as you can see over here on the left hand side, you have block elements that start on different lines, whereas inline only has the space available. Okay, let's take a look at block elements. We're going to look at headings, horizontal rule, something I haven't discussed yet, but we'll talk about horizontal rule, paragraphs, lists, divs, and forms. So we'll start off with headings. As you can see, I have an H1 here and an H1 here. One H1 is for block elements. The other H1 is for inline elements. Each time you create a new heading, and we'll go underneath headings here, I'll create an H2, and I'll just call this is a heading. Headings are block elements. Okay, and so as you can see, whenever we create a new heading, it automatically creates a new line. Okay, and so we'll just duplicate this heading just so that you can see. So I'm gonna Shift, Alt, and down, and we'll have another heading, and as you can see, it goes to another line. I'm gonna make a style for this H2 so you can see. We'll call this background color, and we'll say light blue. Okay, and as you can see, these headings goes all the way to the end of the line, and it takes up the full width available. All right, so let's go back to our index, and now we're gonna make an HR, and I'm gonna put that right here, HR, and hit enter. It automatically gives me a horizontal line, and I'll put one right here as well. HR, which stands for horizontal rule, and it automatically gives me that line there. Okay, next we have a paragraph, and so I'm just gonna make a 25-word dummy text paragraph, and then I'm gonna make a second paragraph, and I'll just once again duplicate that. Let's go ahead and give that some style, and we'll give our paragraph, we'll go the same color, light blue. Okay, next up is list, and we will go unordered list, and we'll go list items, and I'll just say list item 1, and we'll go list item 2, list item 3, and list item 3. We're going to style that, and we'll keep the same color, light blue. Okay, and as you can see, it covers the full width available. Alright, what else do we have here? We have divs. So I'll make a div with an H3. We'll just say this is a heading, and we'll have a paragraph, and we'll also add an image. All right, and I have an image here that I'm going to use, and we're going to go with Scooby-Dooby-Doo. All right, and let's style this div. And let's go light gray. All right, and so as you can see now, the color of the div is light gray, and we have a paragraph inside the div which is light blue. All right, so we're not going to worry about forms. You can kind of get the point here. We'll take forms out. Okay, now for our inline elements, we're going to do a paragraph with a span. So this is a span element, okay? And we'll put a little space there. This is a span element. Now let's style the span, and we'll just say orange. And so as you can see here, the span of this is orange. All right, so this inline element doesn't take up the full width. It only takes up the space needed, okay? And so now we're gonna look at links. And so we type an A for links. And whenever you want a dummy link, you can simply just put the hashtag there, and we'll say link 1, okay, and we'll say link 2, and link 3. All right, so as you can see here, these links are side by side. They're right next to one another. Again, because this is an inline element. And then now we're gonna look at images. Now these images are not inside of a div like Scooby-Doo here. So it's a little different. These are gonna be standalone images. And so we have an image here, and I'm gonna add a break tag after my last link. All right, because as you can see here, the image is right next to the links because they're all inline elements. So I'm gonna add a break tag there, and then I'm going to simply add another image. We'll go image 3 for this image, and you'll see those two images are side by side. Okay, and so these are block elements, display block. These are display inline. Well, in the past, one of the things that we did in order to push elements down to a new line is we use BR tags, right? So if I wanted to put link 1 on a separate line and link 2, I could do BRs, and now I have all my links underneath one another. Same thing for my images. I can do that as well, and now my images are on separate lines. But we're not gonna do that. We're gonna do something a little bit different. All right, we're gonna go to style, and let's first style the images. All right, so we're gonna style IMG and display. Right now we know IMG is inline, So if I put display inline, nothing happens. But what if I change it to block? Now my images are on top of one another, they're on separate lines because I change what the default is. I'm gonna do the same thing for my link. I'm gonna go A, and now my links are on separate lines. So as you can see, display block changes the default. Let's go back to the paragraph. Why are we at it? Well, let's do the H2. All right. So we're gonna make the H2 display. Of course, right now it's block. Right. Nothing happens. We're gonna change it to inline, and now you can see these two headings are on the same line. All right, I'll change the headings that doesn't have so much words in it so you can get a better chance to see what it looks like. All right, we'll just say this is a heading. Okay, and this is a heading. By changing your display from block to inline, it changes what it looks like. And we'll do list items. We'll do unordered lists. All right, let's do the same thing for unordered lists. Display. It's already blocked, so nothing happens. Change it to inline. We'll go LI. Okay, now they are side by side. So there you have it. You can change your display by simply going into your CSS.